You've finished both of your animal pinch pots. Amazing! That means you have time for a third free choice project. This can be another pinch pot animal, but it doesn't have to be. There is a catch. Free choice doesn't mean you can make anything you want. There are some limits. Also, I want you to do a little exploring before committing to an idea. The rest of this video will explain and help you get ready. Do you already have an idea in mind? Still do the following research and notes to possibly improve upon your original idea. You might find an idea you like even better. Here are the goals for this lesson. Please stop and read through them. So knowing all that, you need to come up with an idea that can be made with the amount of clay you've been receiving for the animal pinch pots. It's 2 of those rectangular prism pieces. Decide how to have all the areas be a 1/2 inch to 1 inch thick, and pick an idea that can be made within 40 to 50 minutes. So this is how this will all go down. You will make a list of ideas that reflect your current interests. You will use your idea list to guide visual image and instructional video research on the internet. You will commit to an idea and check the idea against the parameters of the project. You will choose another idea or adjust your idea if needed. You will draw 2 or more sketches to show the steps you'll take to make your project. Let's break that down one step at a time. So I want to explain step 1 and give an example. Step 1 is to make a list of ideas that reflect your current interests. So current is just, what's happening now, and interests is what you like, what you're interested in, what you want to know more about. So doing this for me, I'm going to start with a sloth. My daughter is into sloths, and she's got me interested. And let's see here, I like to travel. Haven't done a whole lot, would like to do more. And that makes me think of a place I'd like to go. I'd like to go to New York City. And that makes me think of apples. This is called brainstorming. You're not stopping to think about the ideas much, if they're good or bad, just whatever comes to your head. And this also makes me think of skyscrapers. I've always been interested in cats. You get the idea. Go ahead and stop this video and make your list of current interests on your worksheet. Before you get into step 2, which is basically looking up some ideas online, I want to show you another clay building technique, which is good to know. It might just be what you decide to do to make your project instead of starting with a pinch pot. So for example, let's say you want part of your project to be a cube. And a cube, I'm thinking about a pinch pot, it's pretty round, that'd be pretty hard to get it made into a cube form. So what you could do is shape your clay. I just patted it down and kept patting until I had these flat surfaces. And that's great, and it's a cube, but it's also too thick. An inch is, I'd say a couple of your pointer fingers, and it's thicker than that. And we know that that can be a problem when this goes into the kiln. So what you can do is take this wire tool and pick a side to be the bottom, because this won't be super pretty. And you carve out clay using the wire tool. So this is hollowing out this cube. You don't have to make a cube. Maybe there's just some other form you're wanting to build with the clay and you're not quite sure how to do it with a pinch pot. Well, you just would sculpt it out and then go to the bottom and do this. And you want to come down. Of course, you wouldn't want to go all the way through, but keep going till you feel like you've taken out as much clay as you can. This is best to do when the clay is leather hard, but you don't really have the luxury of letting it sit out to get more leather hard, since you just have the one art session to work on this project. Remember also to not go too thin. I'm leaving the sides the thickness of my pointer finger. I don't want to go any thinner than that. You might have part of your project that's thicker than 1 inch, but it's not really big enough to hollow out with the wire tool. So what you can do is take a tool that will go down into the form. Form is the word you use instead of shape when something is three-dimensional. Just a little FYI for you. Okay, so I essentially did the same idea, but it was just without the wire tool. I brought hollowness down into there, so now I don't have any areas thicker than 1 inch. And so that if there's any little water molecules trapped inside there, when this goes in the clay into the kiln, it should be able to escape. It doesn't have much area to travel to get out. So, all right, there it is. Each of these steps is helping you feel less nervous about coming up with your own idea for a project, because that really can be one of the hardest things about being an artist. So for step 2, which is use your idea list to guide visual image and instructional video research on the internet, let's get into that. By the way, visual image, that just means a picture, and you know what videos are. So what you want to do is look at your idea list that you made and pick your very most favorite ideas, like 2, maybe 3. I'm going to focus on sloths and skyscrapers from the list that I made. So first of all, I started hearing kids search, and so here's my search term, clay sloth, and it really is not very good. I was kind of disappointed, and I went over here to the web. That's just showing me websites about this, and that's better, and I could probably pick an idea from this. I did notice, however, that if I go to a regular search engine, this is Google search engine, you might use Yahoo or Bing, there's lots of ways to search the internet, but this regular search engine brought me a lot better results. I just had a lot more to look at and think about. So I think it's okay to use a regular search engine, but you need to use caution. Sometimes in a regular search engine there might be a picture that comes up that's not really related to your idea, and it might be real negative or real offensive. The best thing to do in that case is to just scroll away, use the back arrow, get out of there, try a different search term, and also to let an adult know that you trust and talk with them about other ideas for how to be safe and have positive experiences on the internet. But this is looking good, and this little guy I love. I could start out with a pinch pot, turn upside down, and then I could kind of squeeze the sides so it becomes more wide, kind of like an oval. And then I could sculpt these other features and add those on. I could even carve in to make the texture. And let me go ahead and search my other idea, skyscrapers. Ooh, okay. So these are pretty flat, so I could make a slab. That's when you make the clay pretty flat. Of course, you don't want to go thinner than your pointer finger, always, always. But you could start with a sphere, and then you just push it down with the palm of your hand. I showed that in an earlier video. And then cut out the shapes you need with a toothpick, connect them with using score and slip technique. And I could maybe even find something that's the shape of these windows that I could push down in. So, ooh, a bracelet made out of skyscrapers. There's a cool idea. I'd probably have to push some holes through the sides so I could have some string go through those, maybe some elastic string. Okay, so I'm on a roll. I already have a couple ideas that I really like. If you're still not feeling excited about an idea, you might decide to make your search more broad. Let's see, clay projects for elementary students. Or you might type in kids there, or 6th graders. But here is a warning. You will see so many ideas, and it will probably be very hard to pick. So that's why I've recommended that you focus on just a couple of ideas from your interest list. All right, and just a couple other comments. If a project looks kind of complicated and you're not quite sure how to make it, just move on from those ideas. Remember, you just have 40 to 50 minutes. And if the project looks like it takes something besides clay and slip and wood tools, those are the things that I'm providing. Like this one needs a bowl. You would need to bring items from home if it takes something extra like that. Pictures are great, but videos can help even more, so you are welcome to also do a little bit of some video searching. You could put in clay projects for kids, and I've noticed that there's quite a lot there that you might find that you like. Some of these are different types of clay, so you want to focus more on the ones you can tell that they're using a natural clay, like the type of clay we're using. And you might even have something in mind specifically, like if you want to do pinch pot monsters. I mentioned earlier you don't have to start your project with a pinch pot, but maybe that's something that looks fun and interesting to you, and here's already some help with that, so videos are great as well. Alright, keep researching until you have an idea that just makes you sing and dance, and you know what I mean, you're excited about it, and go to it. Stop this video and do your online research. So you're on steps 3 and 4. Hooray! You need to commit to an idea and check the idea against the parameters of the project. These are the limits. They're listed here again. And you might just decide you need to change your idea or go to a whole different idea. Let's look at a couple of examples. So let's say you picked a rock. Well, that sounds great. It's probably going to be thicker than 1 inch. So you've got to decide, are you going to maybe make it out of a pinch pot that's been turned upside down, or hollow it out from the bottom. It probably wouldn't take very long to make a rock, so you want to think about, should I draw some patterns onto it, some pictures, maybe sculpt, make something else to add on top of the rock. A life-size replica of yourself. Well, as fascinating as that sounds, it's going to take a lot longer than 40-ish minutes, and it's going to take a lot more clay than what you'll be given. So you might think, well, maybe I'll make a small version of myself. And you just need to think about it. Is that going to be something that you sculpt out of one piece of clay? Are you going to make it out of multiple pieces, like cylinders and cones, things like that? So just really do some good thinking.